high school recruiting, you got your papers in first out of any recruit in the nation. I mean, what is that process like? As a guy who is bad at paperwork, how did you get it in first? How are you like the first guy to put in your letter of intent?
Yeah, so I was actually recruited from, like, my final three were Ohio State, Michigan, and Pitt. Pitt had offered me first. Paul Christ, we think you're a great ball player, Chase. We really want to, see you on the Panthers. We want to offer you a scholarship. It was like so like dry. I think he's a great guy, great coach, but it was just like, okay, this is like the most exciting event in my life and like what felt like the least exciting event for him. And so I went to Ohio State and stayed overnight there, and the players didn't have the best things to say about Ohio State, which was like a little suspect to me. But I was sitting in Urban Meyer's office, and he's just like, him and his wife comes in, and she says hi, and she's like, "Oh my God, it was so nice to meet your family and talk to them. They're so amazing." But meanwhile, the previous time that I was there, I didn't have a scholarship offer at that point.
Yeah.
And so his wife was like talking to all the other families, like the top recruits at the time, et cetera, et cetera. I was only a 3-star then, before they put some respect on my name. And so she didn't really say anything to my family. And so like just to see her kind of like say all these things, I was just like, like that's a little weird. And I was just like, listen, if they're in cahoots together, she doesn't have anything to do with me playing, but it's just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I went up to Michigan, and it was the opposite. It was like there was something more about it. There was something that's hard to describe with words that just really drew me there. And so when it came time to
was it a bag of money?
No. Urban Meyer went to the back. He pulled out this briefcase, right? This silver briefcase.
Like a Deal or No Deal briefcase?
That's just like it. And I was like, it had locks on it. And I was like, oh shit, here is when I get paid. I was just like, it's finally here. And I was excited. I was like, this is a great day. You hear about this. And he opens it up, and it's their uniforms versus Michigan. And I was just like, man, I'm not gonna lie, these uniforms are pretty sick. But like, you like
look under it.
Yeah, I was just like, what is this? This is so like anticlimactic. It is what it is.
Did you grew up a Buckeye fan, right?
I grew up an Ohio State fan. Yeah, I was a big fan of Terrell Pryor. It's just like, it's one of those guys you see, because there's not Pittsburgh nowadays, just from a numbers standpoint. We produce some NFL talent and stuff, but I like wanted to play quarterback, and like to see him on the biggest stage, like, doing what he was doing, I thought was pretty cool.
Came in as a linebacker, and then now Brady Hoke, how did he draw you to Michigan?
Yeah, he just was real. I loved his like authenticity. I love the fact that he's a defensive line coach. I was being recruited as a linebacker, and he just was the opposite of what Ohio State was during my experience there. And so I went there and was ready to play, but I got redshirted, and that was obviously a whole experience. Then he got fired after the Ohio State game, and that's when there was a month break, and it was like anarchy on campus. It was just like no class checkers.
Saddam leaving Iraq.
Yeah, it was crazy. There was no weapons of mass destruction.
There
was in Ann Arbor that month, but not in Iraq. And so, it was just anarchy. And then Harbaugh comes in, and it was like the exact opposite. Law and order is restored. Then he switched me to tight end. He's after the first practice of spring ball, and that started the whole evolution there.